Hi, friends. The gospel for this weekend, the third Sunday of Easter, is taken from chapter 24 of the Gospel of Luke. We're told that two of Jesus' disciples are walking away from Jerusalem to a village of Emmaus. They saw Jesus crucified on Mount Calvary, and they've heard stories that women went to the tomb and did not find his body. And so they are discussing and arguing amongst themselves what these things might mean, when a stranger joins them on their journey. It is Jesus. But we're told that their eyes are prevented from recognizing him, and yet he walks with them. In nearly all the narratives of the resurrection, there's a moment of unrecognition. And this is because Jesus is not going to be with them in the old way. He has gone to his glory, and it's from that glory that Jesus is with them. And it requires faith to see him, the believing, seeing vision of faith. It's only when the disciples listen to their own story of their grief and their despair, retold from a new perspective, and that they are with this stranger, sharing a meal, when they recognize the familiar gestures at the meal of sharing and breaking the bread, if they come to the realization that it is Jesus with them in a new and a higher form of life. Jesus also walks with us in the midst of our doubts and our trials, our questions, and our despair. He listens to us today and cares about our worry and our distress. He understands any grief that we may be carrying, and he shares our sorrow. Jesus does not offer any easy answers to this, but he does offer us a way to find deep meaning. We're told that Jesus reviews the scriptures, our identity document, with these two disciples, and he points to various passages to them, and he reminds the disciples of God's fidelity. Jesus says, "Did not the Messiah have to undergo all these things so as to enter into his glory?" There's a pattern here that love and suffering are often intertwined, aren't they? Jesus didn't come to take away all suffering or remove it from our earthly journey. He came to fill it with his presence and enable us to give it deep meaning. So the chapter from Luke, it's such a powerful chapter, isn't it, about how Jesus reaches out to people, and he starts from where they are, as he did with these two disciples in their confusion and their grief. And he comes to us, and he comes to everyone. As we realize that these two disciples, one of them is called Cleopas, the other one, we're not even given his name. So Jesus comes to everyone, regardless of our status or our place and position on earth. He walks with the little ones, and he may allow us to walk away from him, but he never abandons us. He walks with us. patiently and gently until he is gradually recognized. Jesus is calling us to a closer relationship with himself. And we can have that closer relationship, being present to him in our hearts, aware that he is speaking to us in his holy word. And when we are able to come back together and publicly celebrate the great joy of the Eucharist, to realize that Jesus is with us in such an intimate way as the bread of life that came down from heaven to give life to the world. Sometimes we have to go through a period of struggle or loss of enthusiasm for our faith in order that we might rediscover it on a higher level, a new stage of prayer, or a rediscovery of something that we already know but had forgotten. Jesus' love and comfort and presence to those disciples allows them on the road to Emmaus to move from despair to hope, to joy. And he can do the same for us. So I would like to suggest that when we go to prayer, we go to the Lord who is always with us and for us. Spend more time consciously in God's presence, with God's holy word. We ask God to help us to better understand the mysteries of Jesus' death and his resurrection, and how that makes a claim on us as a response of gratitude and to live life with deep comfort and hope, even in the midst of many challenges and disappointments and darkness that can linger within. In this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, I invite you to ask the Lord to lead us through these things by his loving presence, to nourish our emptiness and fill us with Easter joy. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your faithful, and kindle in us the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, and we shall be recreated and renew the face of the earth. God bless you. Stay safe and stay strong in your faith.